Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmaswarupine. Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmaswarupine. Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna te namah. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Today's topic I have chosen, significance of the Puranas. We have scriptures, Vedas, Upanishads, Brahma Sutras, Puranas. So, all these scriptures have tremendous value. They give us lot of instructions to follow the path of Dharma so that we can attain liberation. Vedas deal with the knowledge of Atman, the individual self, and the Paramatman, the self of the self. The sum total of all selves, the supreme self we call Paramatma. So it deals with that subject. And it is not very easy to understand the subtleties of these spiritual teachings of the Upanishads. But then people easily understand through demonstrations, through life stories, and Puranas are meant for those who cannot comprehend the spiritual ideas of the Upanishads, yet they can also rise to spiritual level by studying the Puranas. They are compiled from related historical facts which explain the teachings of the four Vedas. Chandogya Upanishad, one of the major Upanishads, it tells Puranas and the Mahabharata as the fifth Veda. There are four Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Atharvaveda, Samveda, and Chandogya Upanishad calls Puranas and the Mahabharata as the fifth Veda. That means Puranas also remove all our ignorance. It will inspire us to cultivate love and devotion towards God. It encourages to follow spiritual path. So Vyasa Maharshi, who gave the Vedas, out of his kindness and sympathy for all sections of people, he supplemented the Vedas with Puranas which easily explain the Vedic truth intended for different types of people. All are not equal. Their minds are different, their temperaments are different, their culture is different, their way of life is different, their thinking is different. So, there are men who are conducted by the mode of goodness, there are some who are under the mode of passion, and some others are under the mode of ignorance. The Puranas are so divided that any class of people can take advantage of them and gradually regain their original position and get out of the hard struggle for existence. So all these stories mentioned in the Puranas are actual histories not only of this planet but also on millions of other planets within the universe. In the Puranas, which are classified under the three modes which I just mentioned, as a matter of course, Vasudeva has certainly given descriptions of the glories of Lord Krishna, but not as many as given to religiosity, economic development, sense gratification and salvation. These four items are by far very inferior to engagement in the devotional service of the Lord. Therefore, in the pure goodness Purana, among them most important Vishnu Purana and Srimad Bhagavatam, Vyasa Maharshi proclaims that the prime necessity of human life is to realize one's eternal relationship with the Lord and thus surrender unto Him without delay. That is the theme of the Puranas. They want us to come towards God. Sri Ramakrishna tells in the Gospel, the Rishis followed the path of Jnana. Therefore, they sought to realize Brahman, the indivisible existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute. But those who follow the path of devotion seek an incarnation of God to enjoy the sweetness of bhakti. The darkness of the mind disappears when God is realized. In the Purana, it is said that it was as if 100 suns were shining when Sri Ramchandra entered the court. Why then were not the courtiers burnt up? Even one sun we cannot see properly. It is difficult to see the sun directly, and Sri Ramchandra is shining 100 suns. It was because the brilliance of Rama was not like that of a material object. As a lotus blooms when the sun rises, so the lotus of the heart of the people assembled in the court burst into blossom. As a master, that Sri Ramakrishna uttered these words, standing before the devotees, Sri Ramakrishna suddenly entered into an ecstatic mood. His mind was withdrawn from external objects. No sooner did he say, the lotus of the heart burst into blossom, than he went into deep samadhi. He stood motionless, his face beaming and his lips parted in a smile. In another place, Sri Ramakrishna says, everything can be realized simply through love of God. If one is able to love God, one does not lack anything. He gives example taken from the Puranas. Kartika and Ganesha, the two sons of Bhagavati, Parvati, they were seated near her. She had a necklace of gems around her neck. The Divine Mother called them, well, I will present this necklace to him who is the first to go around the universe. Thereupon Kartik, without losing a moment, set out on the peacock, his vehicle. Ganesha, on the other hand, he was not excited, he was not restless, he was quite calm and tranquil. He was in a very leisurely fashion. Just when Kartik left the place, Ganesha simply went around the Divine Mother and prostrated himself before her and then sat. Ganesha knew that her mother contained within herself the entire universe. It was a realization. It was not simply talk. He knew. He believed it. And so he just circumambulated the mother. The Divine Mother was highly pleased with him and put the necklace around his neck. After a long while, Kartik returned and found to his surprise his brother Ganesha seated there with necklace on. Weeping, I prayed to the mother. Sri Ramakrishna says, O mother, reveal to me what is contained in the Vedas and the Vedanta. Reveal to me what is in the Purana and the Tantra. One by one, Divine Mother has revealed all these to me. Yes, she has taught me everything. Sri Ramakrishna is the example for all of us that by cultivating love of God, by cultivating devotion, one can get rid of ignorance and one can get supreme joy and happiness. True mythologies are the fit vehicles for conveying profound symbols and challenging images on which all deep thinking and keen intuition are based. Their prime aim is not entertainment or display of flights of poetic fancy, but the supporting and facilitating of the expression of philosophic thought. They are, so to say, expert midwives which help in the easy delivery of the rather massive spiritual varieties. They are the dhanis. Dhani was the midwife making Chandramani deliver easily the boy Sri Ramakrishna. Their pictorial script is rich in loveliness and short descriptions they present of the divinities, whose incarnations and exploits constitute the myth, are delightful to contemplate. But like the beautifully decorated images in our temples, they attract only to make us meditate. They provide a matrix of symbols which lend themselves to ready use by great acharyas and prophets in their striving to convey to the sense-bound common masses the redeeming truths enshrined in the scriptures. Truth is eternal, but for a temporal world it has to be constantly redressed and represented. As Sri Ramakrishna would say, what was legal tender at the time of the Badshahs, Mughals, It's not current coin now. The gold is the same, but it has to be reminted with a new design, and here it is that Puranas help. The stories they narrate furnish a durable frame in which rare and subtle truths can be presented to advantage. The very name Purana is expressive of this fact. Pura api nava. That which is very old, yet ever new. Ever new. The tale a Purana tells is of far away and long ago. Its relevance is immediate in time and space. Its authority is hoary, yet its significance is contemporary. Through the medium of an old episode, our current predicament is deftly analyzed and a facile solution serenely provided. To give an example, probably you have heard, Gajendra Moksha, an elephant king surrounded by a large group of female elephants, steps into a lake and is promptly caught at the ankle by a submerged crocodile. A titanic tug-of-war ensues between the giant elephant on land and the reptile strong in water. Both are strong. The elephant is strong on the land, the crocodile is strong in the water. The struggle goes on for a number of years. The crocodile starts edging towards victory as it succeeds in dragging the elephant inch by inch into the water. But finally, the story goes, Gajendra seeks refuge at the feet of Hari and begins to offer lotus after lotus in adoration of the lotus-eyed one. Gajendra, in his previous life, was a king, Drishtadyumna, Indradyumna. He was a very great devotee of Lord Vishnu, and all the gods would come and see him, seeing his devotion. So much respect he got from all the people. But what happened was, one day, one of the Maharshis visited, hearing that that king is respected by all the gods. He wanted to test himself, so he came to see him. When the Maharshi came, this king was in the worship mode. He was worshipping God, but he had just finished the worship and he had just finished meditation also. That means the concluding part of the worship. He has done everything. So according to the custom, he should have got up and received the Maharshi respectfully, which he did not do. Though he had completed worship, he still sat through, just pretending that he is in meditation. Maharshi was a jnani. He knows what is going on in his mind. And suddenly he felt, no, this is not the way. You are the king of the place. You should know the conventions and traditions. That means there is some trace of impurity still in you. Trace of impurity. Little of ego. So that has to be taken out. That has to be uprooted. So he was to be born as Gajendra. Gajendra is, the elephant is known for its ego. It is so proud of its strength and moves in the forest unchallenged. But because he was a great devotee in his previous life, at the last moment, he got the memory that he was, in his previous life, was a great devotee of Vishnu, and that memory made him immediately surrender to Lord Vishnu. And finally, the Lord responds to the prayer. He kills the crocodile with his Sudarshan Chakra, and at one stroke gives a double moksha, that is liberation for the elephant. The elephant left its body and became highly blessed to get absorbed in the Lord Vishnu, and the crocodile form also, the being was released from the crocodile form. He was in his previous life, he was a Gandharva. So, on account of something he did bad, so he was cursed to be born as a crocodile. Law of cause and effect. He may be a Gandharva. It doesn't mean that he will be exempted if he does anything wrong. No, even one may be in the Vaikuntha. If he does any mistake, he has to come back and reap the fruit. That's what happened. Jai Vijaya, the security guards of Lord Vishnu. Vaikuntha is a place where sattvic quality is predominant. They must be calm and quiet, tranquil, sensible, respectful, completely polite. All these qualities are to be well defined by persons who are living in this region. Once the rishis wanted to visit Lord Vishnu, but these security guards, probably on account of some weakness, they did not allow. What they should have done, they should have gone inside and asked Lord Vishnu whether they could allow these rishis inside. That they didn't do. Anyway, it may be a very small mistake. Of course, they repented later on. They may repent, but you can't undo it, what they have done. That has to be burnt out. Though, for the sake of that dosha, they have to be born 3 times on this earth as Hiranyakashipu Hiranyaksha, second time Ravan Kumbhakarna, and third time Shishupala Dantavakra. So, but because of their intense devotion to Lord Vishnu, they had prayed. Well, in fact, they were given a choice option. Do you want short lives like this? 3 times you will be born. But if you are born in these short lives, but you will be very like demons. You will do all sorts of things. But the other way is, you will get a long life if you happen to be born as people of sattvic temperament. But you have to live long. But they prefer to finish their life early rather than to live for a longer time. Anyway, they prayed, even though they were to be born on this earth 3 times, they prayed that they should be killed by Vishnu himself. That was their prayer. So Lord Vishnu has to incarnate 3 times. One is Varaha Avatar, second is Sri Ramchandra, and third is Krishna. Well, the story goes there like that. That means the lesson is that we have to be careful in our actions, in our thinking, and whatever way we act upon, we get the result accordingly. So, however righteous we may be, we are proud in our possessions and self-sufficiency. A crisis intervenes to jolt us out of our smug complacency. When reduced to a state of utter despair, illumination dawns. We realize that we are nothing. The paths of glory lead but to the grave. We begin to understand that we are only instruments in His hands. Nimitta matram. As Sri Ramakrishna was never tired of exclaiming, Mother, you are the operator, I am but the machine. The sense of kartrutva and bhoktrutva, the agentship and enjoyership, is a bar to felicity. Once we are firmly convinced that all work is His and the fruits of the work are for Him to dispense as He wills, our troubles and anxieties cease. Work becomes worship, thinking becomes meditation, living becomes being in bliss. Tena tyaktena bunjita, Upanishad says. Enjoy by giving up. A river is a river only when its waters flow freely. If the water is obstructed by constructing a bridge, then it becomes a stagnant pool, breeding misery. This is the cardinal insight that is sought to be communicated to us through this apparently incredible story, Gajendra Moksha. Once we keep our eyes trained for the truth embedded in the parable, we cease asking if the story is true. Indeed, historicity has become an obsession with us. Was Jesus Christ a historical personage? Was there factually an Ayodhya Rama? Could there have been a Krishna performing those fantastic deeds? We pose these questions, preening ourselves on our rationality, but we forget that human reason is very imperfect tool, extremely limited in its capacity. Its probe into truth is only skin deep. Reason falls to reach the heart of the matter. Logic has great use, but within its parameters. Where its jurisdiction ends, it must suspend judgment and yield place to other valid means of ascertaining truth like Shabda and Pratyakshanubhava. Take for instance the historicity of Christ. It is easy for a reason-bound scientist to tear to shreds most of the postulates of the church regarding Christ and the Bible. What is true historicity? Just because an event gets recorded somewhere, it does not gain historicity. A historical event is one which makes a profound impression on the consciousness of a people and moves them to heroic action. Anything that stirs deeply the faith of a nation, channelizes its energies, and orients its progress is really historical. Jesus is historical, not on the authority of a birth certificate, but inasmuch as the tide of world history has taken several revolutionary turns because of the mighty doings of those who believed in Christ. What does it matter if factually? What does it matter if factually Jesus was not the first to say, "Love thy neighbor as thyself"? If the saying touches the chords of our heart and opens for us a new window on social relations and human happiness, the man who said it becomes the Christ we adore. It was this truth that Sri Ramakrishna brought home to young Naren when the latter, in the full glow of his skeptic intelligence, teased the master about the Krishna Gopi episode. Why worry if Krishna playing in Vrindavan and the milkmaids surrounding themselves to him are facts of history? Are you able to feel even a little of the intensity of the unqualified love that surged in the breasts of these cowherd young women? It is the realization of that Parama Prema within oneself that matters, and not the exact number of gopis that danced around Krishna. A Purana is true because it is the vehicle of the sublime symbols that enables us to inherit subtle and great varieties. A Puranic truth blossoms into lovely action and new ways of life. Gandhiji records in his autobiography the story of my experiments with truth. There he writes a formative incident of his boyhood. He witnessed a dramatic performance of Harishchandra. What he saw on the stage made such a profound impression on his mind that then and there he took a vow to emulate Harishchandra and henceforward utter nothing but literal truth, come what may. And it is a luminous fact of history that Gandhiji adhered to this resolve without a change of karma all through his long life, and his satyagraha, among other results, enabled India to shake herself free of the centuries-old foreign domination without having to fire a single shot. One of the most unique episodes in world history. Is it not superfluous to ask if the Harishchandra whose story produced such gigantic historic consequences was himself a fact of history? Gandhiji says that he shed tears seeing the drama as a boy, and he adds that if he were to see the drama again, he would shed still more copious tears, despite all his maturity and practical experience of wayward world. That is Purana for you. The Puranas present at a more democratic level the transcendent reality that the Upanishads proclaim rather tersely. If the Vedantic texts read like solemn Supreme Court judgments, the Puranic tales sound like the intimate chit-chat on the same grand theme by a bosom friend. The father commands, the mother cajoles, but the aim of both is the same. The main thrust of Indian culture has ever been to discover the one in the many, the universal absolute in the relative multitude. A Puranic story is always fashioned to bring home this vision to our sense-bound eyes. It is not necessary that it should be swallowed hook, line and sinker. Each hearer must take from the story what promotes his own spiritual quest. This was stressed by Sri Ramakrishna, the master teacher, again and again. After expounding a philosophical doctrine with a wealth of luminous examples and striking parables, Sri Ramakrishna would say, take it minus head and tail. And dressing a fish for the table, the extremities are pruned off and the tusk and the torso used. Likewise, the peripheral decorations of a Puranic tale may be laid aside for the purpose to get at the variety at its core. In the Bhagavad Puran, for instance, we get elaborate descriptions of the geographic features of the universe. We are overwhelmed with details about the number of continents, the variety of oceans, the series of mountain ranges, the courses of mighty rivers, the types of species of living beings, and the pre-regenerations of celestial bodies. A modern geographer will chuckle in amusement at these disquisitions. But the Bhagavata itself declares that all these descriptions are given only to help the spiritual aspirant to meditate on the cosmic form of the Lord. It is next to impossible for the human mind to think except through imagery. That being so, the Bhagavata hastens to place before the devotee a majestic form representing him who is beyond all forms. The Sakar Upasan is preliminary to the Nirakara Anubhuti, to a splendid form, to the formless. A Purana is only a ladder, but its rung can be easily negotiated. And what matters most, we reach the terrace. So Puranas are very inspiring, and it teaches you how to pray, how to follow discipline, how to cultivate devotion, how one should focus on the Lord. All these details are given, and if a person follows them, definitely he will realize the same truth that was realized by Jnanis by reading the Upanishads. Those who realize the truth by following the path of Jnana, the same truth is realized by following the path of devotion. So we can understand God only in a human level. That's why God incarnates himself as a human being, so that we can understand little bit of the Supreme Godhead. So God becomes easily accessible to us through incarnations. And he comes again and again to teach us, to help us in spiritual paths. In spite of it, there are people who may not take up spiritual ways. We shall not have to worry about that, because it will take long time for them to come to spiritual path. In course of time they do come. Everybody has to come to spiritual path in one way or the other. So Puranas help us in this respect. There are so many stories, life stories, who have led the life of purity and devotion, and have given us a glorious example that if we follow the same way, we also reach the goal. Page 818, Master said, God himself has become everything, the universe and its living beings. You will realize it when you have perfect knowledge. God himself has become the 24 cosmic principles, the mind, intellect, body, and so forth. Is there anyone but himself to whom he can show partiality? Nanda said, why has he assumed all these different forms? Why are some wise and some ignorant? Sri Ramakrishna replied, it is his sweet will. Atul. Kedara Babu puts it nicely. Once a man asked him, why has God created the world? He replied, I was not present at the conference where God made the plans of his creation. Master said, oh, it is his sweet will. So saying, the Master sang, O mother, all is done after thine own sweet will. Thou art in truth self-willed, Redeemer of mankind. Thou workest thine own work, men only call it theirs. Thou it is that holdest the elephant in the mire. Thou that helpest the lame man scale the loftiest hill. On some thou dost bestow the bliss of Brahmanhood, yet others thou dost hurl into this world below. Thou art the moving force, and I am the mere machine. The house am I, and thou the spirit dwelling there. I am the chariot, and thou the charioteer. I move alone as thou, O mother, movest me. He continued, the Divine Mother is full of bliss. Creation, preservation, and destruction are the waves of our sportive pleasure. Innumerable are the living beings. Only one or two among them obtain liberation, and that makes her happy. Out of 100,000 kites, at best but one or two break free, and thou dost laugh and clap thy hands, O mother, watching them. Some are being entangled in the world, and some are being liberated from it. How many are the boats, O mind, that float on the ocean of this world? How many are those that sink? Nanda said, it may be her sweet will, but it is death to us. Master said, but who are you? It is the Divine Mother who has become all this. It is only as long as you do not know her that you say T.T. All will surely realize God. All will be liberated. It may be that some get their meal in the morning, some in noon, and some in the evening, but none will go without food. All, without any exception, will certainly know their real self. Pashupati said, true sir, it seems that it is God alone who has become everything. Master said, try to find out what this I is. Is this I the bones or flesh or blood or intestines? Seeking the I, you discover thou. In other words, nothing exists inside you by the power of God. There is no I, but only He. To Pashupati he said, you have so much wealth, but you have no egotism. It is not possible to rid oneself altogether of the ego as long as it is there. Let the rascal remain as a servant of God or love. The ego that makes a man feel he is a devotee of God or a son of God or a servant of God is good. But the ego that makes a man attached to lust and gold is the unripe ego. That ego is to be renounced. The head of the household and the others were very much pleased to hear this interpretation of the ego. Master said to Pashupati, there are two signs of knowledge. First, absence of pride, and second, a peaceful nature. You have both. Therefore, you must have received the grace of God. Too much wealth makes one forget God. That is the very nature of wealth. Jadu Malik has become very rich. Nowadays he doesn't talk of God. Formerly he used to enjoy spiritual talk a great deal. Lust and gold is a kind of wine. If a man drinks too much wine, he does not show his father and uncle the respect that is due to them. Very often he abuses them. A drunkard cannot distinguish between his superior and his inferior. Nanda said, that is true, sir. Pashupati, sir, what do you think of theosophy and spiritualism? Are these true? What do you think of the solar plane, the lunar plane, the stellar plane? Sri Ramakrishna answered, my dear sir, I don't know about these things. Why bother about them so much? You have come to the orchard to eat mangoes. Enjoy them. What's the use of your calculating how many mango trees there are, how many millions of branches, how many billions of leaves? I have come to the orchard to eat mangoes. Let me enjoy them. Once a man's inner spirit is awakened, once he succeeds in knowing God, he doesn't feel the desire even to know about all this rubbish. How incoherently a delicious patient talks. I shall eat 5 shares of rice. I shall drink a whole tank of water. Will you? Says the physician. All right, you will have them. Saying this, the physician goes on with his smoke, but he pays attention to what the patient says when the patient is no longer delirious. Pashupati said, will our delirium last forever? Master, why should you think so? Why should you think so? Fix your mind on God, and spiritual consciousness will be awakened in you. Pashupati said smilingly, our union with God is only momentary. It doesn't last any longer than a pipe full of tobacco. Allah. Master said, what if that is so? Union with God even for one moment surely gives a man liberation. Ahalya said to Rama, "Oh Rama, it doesn't matter if I am born as a pig or any other being. Only bless me that my mind may dwell on thy lotus feet and be filled with real devotion to thee." So stop here. So Puranas have got great value. Lots of stories and so many things are given there. You have to read them carefully and concentrate upon the teachings and learn the lessons. That's the idea. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. Own name streams down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself, O self, drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name that bought for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is thy wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue. The playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when instant separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when the heart burns with a desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet, let me be in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence. Thou it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere, may all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy, may the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied, for He being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.